Hello everybody, welcome back to the Math Cave. Today my goal is to show you how to factor a quadratic equation here. And I'm going to show you one method, right? The most straightforward method. Of course, there are multiple ways of doing this. You can, use the quadratic formula. You can complete the square. But the easiest approach is this one that I'm about to show you. I typically call it the X method. And you might have seen this in class, but this is why you do it. So of course, I hope you understand what I'm trying to teach you. We're trying to find the zeros, basically factor this into a form where it's, x plus or minus something and x plus or minus something, whatever these somethings are. They're not zero, but it could be like 8 or 2, etc. I want to factor this. So I'm going to show you the, as I mentioned, the X method because that's the most intuitive and that's the easiest one. I always go with this one first. I don't want to use the quadratic formula or apply it if I don't have to. It's kind of tedious. So in this case, the first thing you have to ensure is that you have a 1 here for our sake, that A is equal to 1. That'll make things easier. I'll make an example in the future, or record a video in which I show you an example in which A is not 1, and it's a very similar approach. So this is what we do. Up here, you place the number -2. So that number is -2. -1 goes down here. So now we all know that -1 is B and -2 is C. I hope you guys know that, but that's why I said -1, -2, in case you guys don't know what B and C are. But quick refresher, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. C in this case is -2, b in this case is -1, and a is 1, as I mentioned earlier. So now, what does that mean? Here, let's actually write it here. We have -2 up here and a -1 here. So we need to come up with two numbers, number 1 here and number 2 here, that multiply to -2, and they add to -1. Those are the numbers that go here in this box. Okay, numbers that multiply to C, aka -2, and add to B, aka -1. So of course, the list of numbers that multiply to -2 is pretty small. The answer is going to be -2 and +1. And you could have said, no, why can't it be -1 and +2? And I would say, okay, let's check it out. And you would multiply these two numbers and end up with -2. And I would say, okay, cool, yeah, it passes the top test where they multiply to -2. Now, do they add to -1? And you would say, well, -1 plus 2 is equal to +1. And that's where this breaks down. So the sign, whichever is positive, whichever one is negative, it does matter. So it's not -1 and 2, it's -2 and 1. So what does that mean? Well, we have our answer now. We basically have x minus 2, it's plus whatever this number is, which is -2, times x plus this number plus 1. And that's the factor. You just factored this quadratic function here, and these are the two answers. So if you were to multiply these two numbers by the FOIL method, and I won't teach you that here because it's not, I'm not covering that here, but if you were to apply the FOIL method, you would end up with x squared minus x minus 2. And if you solve for the zeros, x is equal to 2 and x is equal to -1. And if you don't know what I'm saying, don't worry about it because this is not the video for that. I'll keep this one short. I hope you learned. If you have any suggestions, feel free to reach out, and I hope you guys have a nice day. Goodbye.